Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we are taking a look at one of the newest concepts to hit the market, and it is one that I'm kind of torn over. There's a lot of things about this knife that I love, and there's one big thing about this knife that just kind of has me shaking my head or scratching my head. Maybe not shaking my head, but definitely scratching my head. And what we're talking about here is none other than the concept low-key. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this knife right here. We have an overall length coming in at 6.88 inches, a blade length of 2.99 inches, and a blade thickness at 125 thousandths. Blade material on this guy, S35VN, which I feel like this is pretty much what we're getting used to when it comes to the premiums of concept, which I love. You can never go wrong with S35VN as long as it's priced right, and I think this one is. We'll get to that here in just a second, but we're looking at a clip point style blade with a flat grind, a handle length coming in at 3.89 inches, and a handle thickness at 444 thousandths. Handle material on this guy, a very nice titanium handle, which we'll talk more about because there's some really cool things going on with this handle. We have a very nice frame lock for the locking mechanism, a user of a right hand only tip-up carry, a weight coming in at 3.7 ounces, designed by Stephen Dunnock, and a price of $159.89. So with S35 and a premium build with titanium, that's pretty much where you're always going to be coming in at. Anywhere from 140 to 200 bucks. It really does depend on the machining and time and what other unique features go into this knife or time-consuming features that go into a knife. But yeah, I feel like S35 and titanium is always going to be in that $140 to $200 range. So I got no issue with this, especially with it being on the lower end of that price range. Size comparisons. Let's take a look at some other knives lined up with this and see just what we have here. I didn't really have a whole lot that measured up with it, and I don't even know if this one will be a great one, not a bad one. Whenever I do size comparisons for you guys, I try and find something that'll match up good in length and like somewhat general shape, kind of, maybe a little. This one was tough because it's a very different design, and I'm actually considerably off here. The mini critical and the sheepdog, the regular size sheepdog, both noticeably longer, but that's what I got. And I got a couple more here. I'll bring these out just to see if maybe that'll help at all. The Civivi Elementum, just because so many people know it. And yeah, I'm definitely going to do it. The Vosteed Thornton, let's take a look at that. And yeah, the Thornton's considerably longer, but very much in line with the Elementum, right there with the Elementum. So that actually may be our best comparison, not so much in blade shape, but in overall length. And now let's get into talking about this knife, and we can actually dive right into the part that really has me kind of wondering why, and it's the blade. Now, not everything about the blade. There are some really good things about this blade. I do like the overall shape. I think the overall shape is actually really nice and a great EDC type of shape. You have a nice pointy tip that'll be good for piercing, but it's also got some nice, a little bit of strength back there with that S35, and doesn't get too dainty. So good for piercing, good for slicing, good for any type of digging. You kind of have, it kind of looks like a harpoon, but there's no real swedge up there. But I still kind of like that. It looks good. It looks good. Got a nice edge coming down to 17 thousandths. This area right up here, this is not the part that really bugs me, but I feel like there could be some jimping up here. I feel like this would be because the way it fits in your hand, like your thumb lands right here, and there's that little indentation in there. I just feel like it's almost like they were supposed to be jimping there and they forgot to do it. Just me, but man, it'd be really, really nice to have some jimping there. What really, really kind of just loses me with this, with the overall blade design, and you guys probably already know what I'm going to say, but this cutout here, I just don't get it. So I got on Concept's website and I read all about the knife, top to bottom, to see if maybe there was some specific meaning or symbolism behind this shape. And there's not, at least nothing that was specified in the description. If there's ever something this unique in a knife, it should always be listed in the description of the knife online, and it's not. So not necessarily a bad thing, but again, it leaves me questioning why, because To me, it just, I love the blade shape. I like how the blade marries with the handle and the choil, but I'm lost with the shape. It just completely throws it all off for me. I don't get it. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. When it comes to knives, especially nowadays, with so many good companies making so many good knives, aesthetics are just as important as quality, fit, and finish, and function, and all that stuff, because there's a ton of great knives out there that have all the fit and finish and quality and action and all that good stuff, but they don't have thumb holes like this that just like kind of leave me guessing. And I don't mean to be too harsh. I will say this: it works great in terms of functionality and being able to kick it out. It works fantastically well. It doesn't tie in with the rest of the design. Everything else on this knife is very sleek and smooth. And then there's like this hot dog here for the blade cutout. I'm just not sure about that. I personally don't like it. So that's what has me really, really hung up on this, because outside of that, I really like the blade. Put a little jimping up there and good to go. You get into the handle down here, and this is my favorite part of the knife, especially with what we have going on up here on the blade. The handle is by far my favorite part of the knife, because the way it marries with the blade, with that finger choil. This is kind of like some mini shaman vibes here almost. I mean, it's so good from an ergonomic standpoint. Really, really comfortable with that index finger up there. And then everything else, again, it's just got a little bit of curves, kind of neutral, but it just fits perfectly in my hand. It feels so good. You get on the other side, and there's a clip that's it's a 3D milled clip. And the shape of it is it looks like it's personally drawn, which I think is cool. I like that. It's the black on black, so you see it, but it doesn't pop out too much. I think it works really good, or it looks really good, and it does work really good. I carried this all day yesterday, in and out of the pocket, just fine. Nice amount of ramp up there, nice tension on the clip, and it's contoured, so it's really, really nice and comfortable in the hand. And when it gets to the rest of the handle, there's some nice details here. This is anodized black, but this is raw. So you have raw titanium here on kind of like the contoured areas, or the chamfered areas. And the black anodization just works really, really well. They did a really good job of keeping that anodization line nice and even right on the point of where the chamfering begins, or the beveling, whatever you want to call it. It looks really good. And the black and raw tie, it goes really well, especially with the black wash, because you kind of see the lines of the raw steel up there. It's really, really good how it all works together. The handle itself is not heavy. It's actually balanced really well, because there's a lot of internal milling in here. It's hard to see with, let's see here. I've got a light. We'll get out the good old O-light here. And there we go. I knew eventually I would figure it out. But yeah, as you can see in there, lots of internal milling on both sides. There's some internal milling up towards the top there as well. So they did everything they could for weight reduction, which is always nice. And yeah, they didn't really leave any stone unturned on the handle. You have a really nice bevel area here up by the frame lock, which makes the close and the access to the lock bar very nice, very smooth, very enjoyable. And the action on this is, I'm just going to start saying typical concept, because I can't remember the last time I had a concept with bad action. This is as smooth as can be on the open and close. Detent is perfect. And it is a very, very enjoyable knife to operate with, fidget with, use in general. It checks all the boxes for me. The only thing that has me hung up on it is the blade cutout. Maybe I'm making too big of a deal, but it's just so different and out there. I would have really liked to, what I would think would be better here is to have kind of just obviously a cutout that works with the open area here that you could just do so much more with. I don't have time to explain it all, but again, it looks like a hot dog to me for a blade cutout, and I don't like that. I really don't like the blade cutout, but I love everything else about the knife in general. It's great. So if the blade cutout doesn't bother you, this is a great one. It really is. Very fair price, incredible quality and action, great ergonomics. Very, very solid offering from Concept. I really wish they would actually come out with another version with a different blade cutout, I think it would probably sell twice as better, twice as good as this one. So just my opinion, but nonetheless, overall, still a really great design and fantastic manufacturing from concept on this. Yeah, not too far off from being a home run, but still has me questioning that blade cutout. What do you guys think of the blade cutout? Am I overreacting? Do I need to shut up about it? Or what do you think about this? But the knife in general, I would say, is very, very good. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.